Associates, proud UMass alum, I'm guessing, this morning.
Absolutely. Look, it's always the off-campus kids that start the trouble, but the reality is the chancellor.
Did you just say that with a straight face?
Not really, actually. No. I don't think the chancellor could have spoken in a more serious tone about this incident, which I think is absolutely necessary. And you have a handful of kids who've got serious troubles down the road because that's not acceptable.
I just say thank God the Blarney blowout wasn't around in the late 80s. Because
you got some off-campus kids stirring the pot, but it's not acceptable behavior. Not acceptable.
Peter Kadgis of WGBH.org. This doesn't happen at UMass Boston campuses.
It did not. We were too busy working to put ourselves through college to engage.
Well done,
such
Peter.
shenanigans.
At least one is above this sort of stuff. Speaking of shenanigans, fellas, let's start down in D.C. And we'll go both sides of the aisle. I'll start with the Republicans. Little Ted Cruz, Rand Paul, Donnabrook brewing, Cosmo. Whose side are you on, and what does this say about the state of the Republican Party right now?
You know, I think what it says is the 2016 cycle is kind of the graduation, kind of the commencement for the Tea Party. You got two Tea Party figures as leading candidates right now. Chris Christie's damaged goods. Mitt Romney's a beaten man. So this is who you got, and it's kind of a graduation of sorts for the Tea Party. As far as the dispute between the two of them, look, every Republican is supposed to compare themselves or at least invoke Ronald Reagan. So I don't know why they're arguing about that. They've got legitimate differences on foreign policy and the way to approach things. So there you have it. But these guys are going to be leading candidates in the 2016 cycle. That means the Tea Party has arrived in a new way.
Is the Democratic Party just sitting there saying, please let Ted Cruz and Rand Paul go at it all summer long, Peter, because this can only be good? Or are they worried about either of these guys?
The Democrats should be worried about any candidate, even from the Socialist Workers' Party. They're so disoriented today. Listen, Cosmo's right. 2016 will be a moment for the Tea Party, or at least the primaries will be. The problem with the Tea Party and Tea Party candidates is that they're not in favor of anything. They're opposed to everything. Look, Cruz, in particular, is an egomaniac, even by Washington standards. Ron Paul, I find very interesting. Rand Paul. Rand Paul is interesting because he has attracted a lot of support from young people. Now, young people don't by themselves win presidential elections, but they can be a great force on the ground.
If you can raise a few $100 million as each of these guys will be able to, you got to be worried about it.
Yeesh, but is that where the Republican Party is going? Either Ted Cruz or Rand Paul? That's the choice for that party right now? Not good. In the meantime, not to be outdone, there's the Democratic Party, which is, to me, going to win the Stupidity Award of the Week. See if you guys agree. They're having a Democratic sleepover in the Senate right now, Cosmo, to talk about climate change and how the debate is over.
Anything called the pajama party pretty much is ruled out once you've reached 16 years old or beyond, first of all. So that's a bad idea. There's this long-running debate about the existence of climate change, and more importantly, the impact of mankind, as opposed to, hey, what are some things that we could do to address what we're seeing around us? Mankind doesn't necessarily cause coastal erosion, but you know what? We do things every day to address it. So why can't climate change be different? Why is climate change any different?
Listen, it's not a lame issue. It's a lame response. I don't see this.
But is there something absurdly ridiculous about them lecturing us on how serious this is?
In their
and
pajamas?
to do what they're doing, they're having a quote sleepover.
Well, no one, thank God, is in their pajamas. Listen, the public is more media savvy than people in Washington give them credit for.
I don't know if they are. I think they fall for this
It's an immature and silly response to an otherwise relevant
that I think works because we keep electing these guys.
As I said, it's a very good issue. It's a very lame response.
Peter Kadgis of WGBH.org, Cosmo Macero of O'Neill & Associates. They're the heavy hitters. Fox 25 News at 8 starts right now.